guys, so welcome back once again to my channel. So today I'll walk you through on how you can draft a, a corset, the easiest way you can draft your corset without much difficulty. Okay, so as you can see here, I'll be working with this cotton paper. All right, so please, if this is your first time of coming into my channel, you are highly welcome, and please don't hesitate to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos you will get notified. Okay, I upload videos every week. And to my old subscribers, thank you guys for all the wonderful work you guys have been doing. All right, so without wasting much of our time, let's go straight to the business of today. So drafting your corset, the first thing you learn, you first of all draft your basic bodies. Okay, so this requires you to know how to draft your basic bodies first. Okay, maybe I will leave a link on my description box so that you will learn how to draft a basic bodies in case you don't know how to do that. So first of all, we'll draft our basic bodies first. Okay, so before we'll now go ahead to cut our corset. So the first thing I will do right now is to get the our measurement to be working on, and the measurement I will be working on, I have the bust measurement, the bust point, the under bust measurement, the waist measurement, the shoulder to waist measurement, and our shoulder. Okay, so now let's first of all draft our basic bodies. So I'll go ahead and mark a starting um line as our shoulder line. So here, so this will serve as our shoulder line, the starting line. Okay, so after that, the next thing you will do right now is to get your shoulder to waist measurement. So here, the shoulder to waist measurement I'll be working on is 17 inches. So I'll go ahead and add extra 1 inch of um, joining allowance. Okay, so here, this is my 17, then this is my half inch, 1 inch of folding or joining allowance. Okay, so now having done this now, so after this, remember, like I said, we'll first of all draft our basic bodies. Okay, so the next thing I'll do right now is to get my shoulder to waist measurement. Okay, and my shoulder to waist, sorry, my shoulder measurement, we have gotten our shoulder to waist measurement. So I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder measurement, and the shoulder measurement I have is 16 inches. So I'll go ahead from here, from this shoulder line, the starting line, you mark your, this is my 16 inches. Okay, so here I didn't add a half inch for joining because we are not concentrating on the, we don't need this part, but we need it to be able to get our corset. Okay, so here now I'll go ahead and mark my armhole measurement, and the armhole measurement I have, I will use 8 inches for my armhole measurement. So here, this is my 8 inches for my armhole measurement. So here I'll go ahead. Okay, so after this now, the next thing I will do right now is to insert uh, my shoulder bust point measurement. Okay, so my bust point measurement is 10 inches. I'll be working with bust point of 10 inches. So I'll go ahead and make a line. So this is my 10 inches for bust point. Then my under bust measurement, I'll be using 14 inches for my under bust measurement. So here I have my 14 inches. Okay, now, so like I said, the next thing I'll do is to get my under bust. So my under bust measurement, I have 14 inches. So here is my 14 inches for my under bust. All right, so this is bust point. This is my bust point, and this is my under bust, the waistline, and sewing allowance. Okay, So after this now, the next thing I will do right now is to determine how the neckline I want, how low or how high I want my neckline to be. So I'll be using a neck, you can use a neck depth of a neck depth. Sorry, you can use a neck depth of maybe 6 inches, or you can use 6.5, 7, or 8 inches, depending on how you want your cleavage to show. Okay, so I'll be using my 7 inches. So this tutorial I'll be working with 7 inches neck depth. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and mark it. So this is my neck depth, how high or low you want your, so this is my neck depth. Okay, so after this now, the next thing I will do right now is to get my bust span. Okay, so the bust span I'll be working on with the bust span of 8 inches divided by 2. That will give me 4 inches. Okay, so here I will mark it. Here from the neckline, I will mark the bust span down to my waistline. So after which I'll go ahead and connect the lines. All right, so after this now, remember, like I always said in my previous videos, I always come up by half an inch and here down by half an inch, because I don't want to have a sharp edge. So here I have my half inch upwards and half inch downwards. All right, so the next thing we'll do right now, from here, from this bust point, we are going to measure the distance from your bust point to your under bust point. So that distance, you are going to measure it and mark it all round. Whatever you got, you are going to mark it all round. So starting from here now, starting from this point, what I have here, I have 4 inches. So I'm going to mark it from here. We are going to make a dot. So let's make a dot first, like this. So this is my 4 inch. We'll make a dot, the distance between our under bust and bust point. Okay, so we are going to mark it all around. All right, so here when you get to this place, here from this side now, here, remember the armpit measurement, the bust is always flat at this side, at the armpit measure armpit side. Our bust is always flat. So what we'll do right now, we'll go ahead and mark 4.5 instead of 4 inches. We'll mark 4.5. Okay, so from here now I will be marking. Okay, let's first of all finish marking our 4 inches dot so that we won't get confused. Okay, so here let's mark it first, we'll come to that later. All right, so we are done with this marking now. So this is what we got. Okay, so the next thing I will do right now is to impute my that my dart. Okay, so here on the under bust, you are going to insert 1 inch inwards and 1 inch outwards. The same thing, you are going to do the same thing down to the waistline. You mark 1 inch in and 1 inch out. So after which you go ahead and connect the line. So you connect the lines. Okay, so after that now, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing, 1 inch here. On this neckline, you're going to mark your 1 inch in and 1 inch out. You can decide to use, okay, let me use 0.7. So here I have my 0.7, 0.75. You can use 1 inch. You can also use half inch as well. So after that, the next thing I will do is to connect. I'll go ahead and connect I'll make a curve like this. See? So from here, from that half an inch, you make a curve. From the half-inch step out, you make a curve so that we won't have a sharp edge. Okay, you can see. So you do the same thing here. All right. Okay, now, so the next thing I will do right now, is to come in to determine how low you want the center of the corset to be. Remember, the center of the corset. So here, from my neckline, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from my neckline. So I will come down by 1 inch. You can come down by, you can decide to come down by 1.5 depending on how low you want it. So from this 1 inch now, I'm going to come in by 0.75. You can decide to make it half inch. The distance between the bust, the center part, after sewing corset, the distance between the two corset, that is what we got here. I have 0.75. You can decide to use half an inch if you don't want the space to be much. Okay, so here you can decide to use half an inch, or you can decide to use 0.75 depending on your choice. So after this now, the next thing I will do right now is to connect this from my under bust. Now I'm going to connect it to this place. So I'm going to connect it to the new from here. You are going to connect to this 0.75. So I'll connect it like this. So this is what I have here. So after that now, so here, remember, like I said, here on this part now, the bust is always fuller on this part. So because of that, we are going to add half inch on this side. You can decide to make it 0.75, or you can decide to add half inch. So here we are going to mark half inches. So now we mark half inch. So here to this bust, half inch to this bust point. Okay, so when you get to this bust point, you connect. So here you mark a straight line. All right, so now after this, now the next thing we'll do right now is to draw our neckline. So from here, I'll go ahead and draw this neckline, a sweetheart neckline, to meet um with this 0.75 we came in the center of the corset. So you also go ahead and connect here. From this dart, you connect to this place. Okay, you connect it here. All right, so now, so basically the left thing for us to do right now is to add our horizontal measurement. Okay, so my bust measurement, like I said, the bust measurement is 40 inches. So 40 divided by 4, that will give me 10 inches. So you mark your 10-inch here. Then here, you transfer whatever you have here, you transfer it back. You are going to transfer whatever you are cutting out here from the dart. You transfer it back to this place. So here, I have 1 inch. So I'm going to transfer it back here. So you now add your sewing allowance. Okay, so let's add our sewing allowance. So here I have 1.5 inch of sewing allowance. You can decide to, after drafting, when you cutting on your fabric, you can decide to add your sewing allowance. Okay, so now the underbust measurement, my underbust measurement is 34 inches. So 34 divided by 4, that will give us 8.8 and half, 8.5. So you mark it here. So these 2 inches, that remember, we remove 1 inch in and 1 inch out, so making 2 inches. You are going to replace it here. After replacing it, then you are going to mark, add your sewing allowance. Okay, so here I'm adding everything all together. You can decide to, maybe when you are cutting on your fabric. So here as well, the waist measurement, I also have 34 inches. So the same thing I got here, 12.5, I'm going to add it here. So the underbust measurement and my waist measurement are the same. Okay, so here I have 8.5 here, you see. So the 2 inches of that, then my sewing allowance 1.5 inch. So this is our main, this is for then this is for our sewing allowance. All right, so you can see this is what we have here. So to make our armhole curve, you come in here by 1 inch, or you can use your French curve to make the armhole. So you can see, so this is it. You can decide to blend it in. So you blend it in this way. So this is what we have here. All right guys, so now our corset is ready. In case you want to make, maybe you want a yoke, you can, you still need the upper, this upper part. Then you can decide, maybe you want to add your lace or net to it. Maybe you can decide to choose the neckline you want. Maybe you can choose 4 inches neckline. You can choose as well as 4 inch. Then your shoulder slope. Okay, so if this is for the yoke, this top part is for the yoke, should in case you want to add yoke to it. Okay, so this is how you use this to get your yoke. So this is what I have here. You choose to design any neckline. Maybe you want it higher, you can use 4 inch. So after which you go ahead. So this is for the yoke. You don't really need this part. So but in case if you want to attach your yoke to it, so this is how you go about it. So after cutting this out now, you're going to use this one to cut out your yoke. Okay, so I think this is it for this tutorial. As you can see, our corset is ready. So the next thing I'll do right now is to cut it out, so that we'll go ahead and cut the back. So now I'll go ahead and cut it. Okay, so this is what I have here. So this is it. So I will label this as my, this is my side. I will write it as my side, so that I won't get confused. Okay, so I will not get confused. This one, I'm here to cut it. All right, so this is what I have here now. So you can see our corset is ready. Okay, so this is my front, center front. Okay guys, so this is what I have here. I'm done cutting it. So now You can label it so that you will not get confused. So this is the side, so this place will be my center front. Okay, so this is my center front. Sorry, my fan is really disturbing. Okay, so this is it, as you can see here. So this is what I have. So in case if you will be adding a yoke, so you can use this as your yoke, as the guide to cut your yoke. So this part is for the yoke. So this is our corset. So this is the outcome. So we'll go ahead right now and cut the back. Okay, so stay tuned while we cut out the back part. So guys, now we are about to cut the back. As you can see here, I've marked out my basic um block. So here I have my shoulder to waist, which is 17 inches, like I said earlier. So if you this line now is my armhole line. So remember, I used the armhole of 8 inches for the front while I was cutting the front. So this is the armhole line, which will serve as the upper chest. Okay, so here, this is my underbust. This is my underbust. Remember, we are drafting the back pattern now. This is for the back, for the corset. So this is my underbust. Okay, and this is my shoulder to waist. So here is my shoulder measurement. So here, so on this my shoulder measurement, I will come down by half an inch for my shoulder slope. Okay, so you go ahead and determine the kind of the type of neckline you want. So here, if you watch closely here, this is my zipper. This is for zip. Okay, I have 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. So I use 1.5. You can go ahead and use how many inches of your choice. So now, so I will go ahead and determine this is for if in case if you'll be adding yoke to the back. Okay, so remember the front I use 4 inches for the neck width. So I'll go ahead and mark the same 4 inches for my neck width. So I'll go ahead and connect it. So this is it. So I decided to make this tutorial should in case you want to add your yoke. So this is how you go about it. So you determine the kind of neckline you want. Okay, so now maybe okay, I want to do a kind of it to have some opening here. So the next thing I will do right now, I will go ahead and mark 2 inches for my neck depth. 2 inches. I'll go ahead and connect it. This is for the neck depth. Okay, this is 2 inches for my neck depth. So now maybe I want to make some, you can decide to leave it this way, you add your yoke, you can decide to create a design. So now I'll go ahead and mark my armhole. So here, this is for my armhole. You can use your free hand, you can use your armhole curve to do this. So now I'll go ahead, I'll come down by 1 inch, or you can come down by 1.5. Then here, so I'll go ahead, remember we use 4 inches here. So I just want to make a design. It's not necessary you do this. You can decide to just leave it like this, your yoke this way, that is fine. Okay, but I'm just trying to show you that you can create something else. It's not necessary you will limit here. You can do this way, like make a circle like this. Okay, you see sometimes you see something this way, so you can decide to do like this. You create like this. Okay, so this is it for the yoke. So now the next thing I will do is go ahead and put my bust span. So I'm adding my bust span measurement. I will add it through to this armhole, the upper chest. I'll go ahead and connect the line. So here, so on this waistline I'm going to add half inch in and half inch out as usual. I know by now most of you will be familiar with this. So you connect it to your chest line like this. So this is a normal dart. Okay, you use a normal dart for it. So this is what I have. So this is for the yoke. If you want to make a design like this, it's up to you, or you can go ahead and just here, you can just cut here out. I know by now most of you will be seeing this design. Maybe you see a corset here, and this is for the zip, or some who use loops. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on how you can, if you want to use a loop for your corset, okay, maybe insert your loops or your eyelet. So this is it. So sometimes you see here a corset is having only this way, or you can actually do v neckline. It's not limited, okay. So you, through your yoke, you can do any design you want. You see, you can do any design. You can also make it v. So here will be open, here is corset. Like, I don't know if you are getting me. So the next thing I'll do right now is to insert my bust measurement. So I have 10, which is 40. So here on my under bust, like I said, I have 34 inches, which is 8.5. You mark it. So I'm going to replace my dart, 1 inch dart. So here as well, 34 inch for waist, and also my dart. All right. So after which you go ahead and mark your sewing allowance. You can decide to add any sewing allowance. So here I'm adding 1.5 inch of sewing allowance. So this is it, okay. So now our back is ready. So the next thing, if you want to have like a sloped back, remember this is 8. If you want to leave it at that, you can go ahead and leave it. But if you want to have a deep neckline, like down, you want the back to go down a bit, you understand, you want the back to go down, you can decide to come down. Maybe you can decide to do 9 from this your chest point. You come down by 1 inch, or you can also come down by 1.5 or 2 inches, which is 10 inch, okay. So that means you want a very deep neckline. So the next thing you do, you connect it here from this armhole. You connect it like this. So this is it. I hope you guys are not confused with these so many lines here. So it depends on, if you want to work on a straight line, you go ahead and cut it this way. So I'll go ahead and I'll first of all cut this out. So this is for the yoke, okay. I'll cut them one after the other so that you guys will understand. So now let me say I want to work on this. So I'll just go ahead, like you see, I'm cutting this now. So this is it, okay. And this is for the yoke. So this is the neckline for my yoke, should in case I want to add a yoke to my design. So here is the armhole. So my shoulder slope. So now let's set this aside, okay. So I'm going to cut this now. This is the main bodice. So now this is for the dart. So you can decide to work on this. You can decide to work solely on this, all right, or you can decide to slant it. Maybe you want a deep neckline, you can go ahead and slant it this way, okay. So you can go ahead and slant it. It's your choice. It totally depends on you. So this is our dart. You go ahead and cut your dart. So this is what you have here, as you can see. So this is it for the back. So this is for the yoke. So this yoke now, if you want to make any design of your choice, you can go ahead and cut it out. I know some of you might be seeing something like this, but whenever you are making this kind of yoke, guys, always remember to remove this zipper allowance, okay, so that you won't have excess. Okay guys, so this is it for this tutorial. I think we are done with this. So this is what we'll have here. We'll have this as the back. Okay guys, so we are done with this tutorial. This is what I have here. As you can see, I've pinned this down. This is for the cup. I use pin to hold it so you guys can see how it looks like. Okay, so this is it. Remember, when you are going to cut your corset, always add your allowance on this side. So add your allowance. So this is what you have here. So this is our yoke. This will serve as the yoke. Okay, so if you watch here, you can see my back piece as well. I've cut my back piece as well. So here is my back piece. So, and this will serve as the yoke of our back piece. So in case you want to add your yoke, you can use this as the guide to cut out your yoke. All right, so guys, this is it for this tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, kindly give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. Subscribe if you have not done so, and hit notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you will get notified. So thank you so much guys for joining me on this tutorial. Bye, see you in my next video.